What's going on guys, this is Kedar here, and today in this video on 600 IRS rule, if you make over $600 on PayPal, Venmo, Cash App in 2022, then IRS will know. And this 600 IRS rule, I wanted to clarify all the details because this is going to affect your tax returns that you are going to file very soon. And remember, this is a last minute change that they are going to implement in the month of December. So I will be going to explain the exact details, what is happening with the current rule and what you need to watch out for. And today in this video I am going to explain what they are exactly trying to modify, and with the latest changes you should receive a 1099K letter from IRS for any earnings over $600 that came through a digital payment from apps like PayPal, Venmo or Cash App. And remember the letter that you are going to receive from the IRS, the 1099K, and whether if you got 1099K or not, please do not ignore this one because you are going to receive letter from IRS guaranteed, because the whole process is going to be automated. Honestly, IRS is doing too much, I think, because IRS is gonna focus all of their resources to chase down those people who are making $600 from their side hustle. And honestly, like incomes like $600, IRS is stretching the lines too far. I mean, like this is just so much wrong on so many levels actually. Like instead of focusing on people, these wealthy people who cheat on taxes, but instead this time IRS is trying to lower down those thresholds all the way down to $600. And honestly, this is gonna make IRS tax filings lot more difficult because a lot of people will take a look at the professional tax assistants, and you might actually have to dig up all of your receipts if you do side hustles of selling on eBay, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, whatever the third party apps. And don't even talk about the profits. Even if you don't make the profits, then still you have to report those earnings. And like, what if you don't have the receipts for the product that you sold over 10 years ago? This is going to be more expensive and complicated process. I can go on and on forever, but I'm just the messenger. I just want you to be informed on this exact IRS $600 rule. So without a further ado, let's get right into all the important details. Quickly before we start this video, make sure to check out our channel How To Guys. Anything related to money, benefits, raises to your benefits, we have got tons of details. So make sure to check out How To Guys and be sure to subscribe with all the bell notification turn on so you will never miss new videos we upload every single day. And without a further ado, let's get right into all the important details. So speaking of the 600 IRS rule, let's clarify all the important things and how that will affect your tax returns that you are going to file very soon. Now I just wanted to keep this informed, so remember, this is just last minute change. Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, are trying to make this as a last minute change. So let's say if you started a side hustle or work for yourself this year, then you may have received the payments through digital apps like PayPal, Cash App, Zello or Venmo. Then if so, then IRS will know about that payments. And speaking of the 600 IRS rule, so let me explain the current rule. So let's say if you receive a payment of $600 or more from third-party apps like this, like PayPal, Cash App, third-party payment processing apps like this, then whether it's a part of your part-time work, side hustle, or whether you work for yourself, or probably you might be selling some goods, then in that case, you'll be going to receive this tax form in the month of January, and it's called the 1099K. Now this so-called 1099K form, honestly, whether you receive the copy of your 1099K in the mail or not, listen this carefully. Please do not ignore it because this is gonna be so much important. If you do not report this on your tax return and if you just ignore this one, then you are going to receive a letter from IRS guaranteed, because you know what, this whole process is gonna going to be automated. So let's say if you ignore a 1099K, then in that case that will automatically trigger an IRS letter that they are going to ask. In that response letter, IRS will ask you to pay up. Previously the threshold for this whole process was like $20,000, so the whole process was like nothing new, not a lot of difference for that. But this year, IRS have lowered the threshold all the way down to $600. And in fact, this threshold is so much low, actually a quite a low level. Therefore, this threshold, this IRS 600 rule gonna affect whole lot of people this year. And actually, they are trying to make this as a last minute change. I don't think actually this is a good idea to lower down those threshold right from 20,000 going all the way down to $600. Like honestly, this whole process, I don't think this is a really good idea because IRS will have to focus all their resources finding out and chasing down all those people who are making $600 just from a side hustle. And I think IRS has already stretched these lines very thin when it comes down to the thresholds. And you know what? They don't even pick up their phones. Okay, now I can go on forever, but let's listen to the entire process of the 1099K. Now, whole process for the 1099K is automated actually. We are talking about the detection process. It's entirely automated. And speaking of those letters, IRS will send out letters saying something like this: what if you don't report those things? But you know what? Even though all of this whole entire process is basically automated, but still, actually, why IRS is taking their attention to track down those $600 earnings? I don't get it. This will just require a lot of human labor as well, as IRS will have to respond to all their responses. So if you receive a letter from IRS by mistake, then you might probably write back to them like, what is this 1099K is all about? Then in that scenario, IRS will have to allocate their human labor to this matter and respond all of these kind of letters. So personally, like, I don't think this is just a waste of all of their IRS resources. This is just so much wrong on like many levels. Instead, IRS should track down all those wealthy people, those who try to avoid those taxes. Why they are tracking down those people who are earning $600 from just a side hustle? We are talking about those people who constantly deal with the PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, just an average person selling out their old things on eBay. Probably they are trying to get some money to pay out their rents, or probably they are trying to get those money to just to make their end meet. And we are also talking about those side hustle like garage sale to basically sell out your old sofa, TV, or probably anything of such kind. Now, as far as I can see this 1099K, you need to report your earnings $600 or more in annual income for goods and services. I don't think this is a bright idea. Basically, this is a disaster going forward, and this whole idea to report earnings over $600 or more is just totally bad for so many reasons. I think with this new law in effect, what they are trying to do, they are basically trying to throw out additional layer of complexity for a whole lot of like millions of Americans. All of those people will be receiving confusing tax form 1099K, and on a first glance, they probably might not know what the hell this is all about. So you know what they will try to do on TurboTax 1099K? Then you're going to have to pay for the upgraded version for that, and then upgraded version of the TurboTax is gonna cost more money to do your simple taxes thanks to this new law in effect. Or you know what? Some people will look for professional tax assistance, and this is going to be a lot more expensive than the current one. And additionally, with the 1099K, you will have the burden of proof. So you will be responsible to provide the proof. That means you have to dig up all of your transactions, receipts to keep track and good record of your purchases. So example, let's say you sold out your old TV for like $600, and let's say you didn't make that much money from that purchase. You sold off your basically old TV, then you are going to have to provide proof for that transaction that you didn't made any money on that by showing all of your receipts. So basically you need to prove that you have sold a personal item at a loss, and you may be required to show exact documentation of the original purchase in order to prove that you sold that item at a loss. And you know what? When it comes down to the taxes in the IRS, you are guilty until you are proven innocent. So that's how the system basically works. Now, what if you don't have the receipt for the goods that you are sold? Then, in that case, IRS they basically gonna say that you must have paid $0 and then you sold it for $600. Then that's a $600 profits, and now you owe taxes to IRS. And you know what? I don't think this is a really great decision. But anyways, now generally there are some run arounds that you can try. So basically the IRS isn't taxing your money that you send out to your families, friends. So basically you are going to get an excuse. So once you realize that they are not going to help you, I think this is my personal opinion, but it's your best bet to report it on your Schedule C under the returns and allowances and offset it. Just wipe it out completely to zero. And when you do that, you are supposed to also attach a simple letter with your tax returns stating exactly that you are issued a 1099K erroneously. So I know that most of the people e-file on their tax returns. So these softwares will give you the option to add your attachment to your tax returns. So when you are going to e-file your tax return, you can write a Word document along with it and submit with your tax returns. And also personal transaction involving gifts, favors, reimbursements are not considered taxable. So some of the examples of non-taxable transactions are the money that you have received from a family member as a holiday or birthday gift, or you receive money from your friends covering their portion of restaurant bill. So that transaction is also non-taxable. Then the money that you received from your roommate or a partner for their share of the rent and utilities. These money is also non-taxable. So remember that payments that will be reported on your 1099K must be flagged with the payments for your goods and services from the vendor. And when you select sending money to families or friends, it won't show up on your tax form. So that money from your roommate for half of the restaurant bill is totally safe. Now, if you do receive a 1099K for money that was sent from a family member or friend, just reach out to the payment processing company to get this transaction corrected. Okay, so speaking of the reporting of the payments, well, first one is that reporting requirements will not apply to your Chase QuickPays. So that is the one thing. Then speaking of number two, reporting will not apply to Zelle either because those are bank-to-bank transactions and not third-party payment processing. So this is something that you should keep in mind going forward, because moving forward this is a workaround. And number three, this is going to be only applicable for the goods and services for rendered for the compensation. So if you pass a money back and forth from a family member, friend, this is not gonna affect you. Let's say if you split a bill from a restaurant bill and friend is covering their portion, then that is again excluded. That's not gonna count it towards your $600 threshold. And additionally, moving forward, and additionally on the payment platforms that can distinguish whether the money is being sent for the goods, services, gifts and reimbursements. Now remember, IRS is doing this as an automatic process, and these process the IRS system is not 100% perfect. There will be some errors, so just watch out. Just in event of the error, you can again make sure to reach out to them or the payment processing company. But anyway, what do you think about it? Do let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to How To Guys with all the bell notification. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kedar from How To Guys, sign out.